are going to let them take over the intro.
Okay.
So welcome.
Yes, welcome. Alrighty.
We actually have a caller already.
Hey, I love those. We'll just start off with that.
Okay, we'll go from there. Area code 201. You're on the air with Brenda, Scott, and Jen.
Hello.
Hi, this is Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
How can we help you, dear?
I saw that you're doing mini readings. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. If you have a question
Okay,
or...
well, I have to ask a specific question?
No,
or
no, no,
can
no.
we just do like a general reading?
Yes, you can have that.
We can do either.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll give you a general...
What do you see for me regarding 2013, which will be right around the corner?
Well, that year is the snake year. But here's the thing. It's all about manifesting. So it's really a lot of good fortune for everybody. What we're going to look at, because I'm trying to find out, because people want to hear good things, and I would like to give that. But they're now telling me there's something that would actually stop you or prevent you. It's called a comfort zone, a heart wall, little things that would actually interrupt you from having those opportunities. And if you would like to know about those, then I can go into that. Otherwise, we will go a little bit further here. Look at that, just keeps going back to that. Alright, so you guys are just going to keep shuffling. I will just draw. Alright, on the relationship front, we are going to see what is happening. And you are going to be allowing yourself to be with others more fully. Now, that means you might have to give up some more of your free time for yourself, unless you're already doing that. If you're already doing that, then I would say make sure that you're giving yourself more free time, because they are looking as if, again, they want to go into how things are going to stop you from really fully receiving an opportunity. I'm just going to let Jen talk.
Okay, so what has been a burden as far as, I just asked as far as the whole year, 2013, just the whole year overview. So what has been a burden in your life? It's time to take a look at that and use your ability to discern, to prophesy, to tap into vision, whatever that ability that you have, or maybe you do need to get into that ability or fine-tune it in order to take a look at what this is, because you will be receiving omens and messages and signs along the way to tell you what this is in order for you to heal it.
Okay, so as medicine women, one of the things we do is that we can actually see the energies of things that would actually stop you from spiritually growing, physically, mentally, and emotionally, achieving. And I want to give you a great message, a positive message, but your guides are actually pointing to that they would like you to resolve something. Now, my husband drew a card for you.
Yeah, I got the flying card. And it says, okay, it's reversed. When you see the flying card reversed, it is a gentle reminder that there are times to take flight and times to remain grounded. And for now, you must avoid overreaching. There is still work to be done before you earn your wings. Be patient. What you seek will not be out of reach forever. Remember the story of Icarus in Greek mythology, whose wax-made wings and overconfidence brought him too close to the sun? He perished because he didn't realize his limitations. Humility is a great power, and now you must exercise it. Doing too much, too fast, too soon only serves to prevent a beautiful flight later on.
So, with your permission, can I just read what they want you to take care of?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, the first thing they point out is that the word terror. There is an energy of terror that seems to be a trapped emotion within your little self. And it's around at birth. Now, do you know if when you were born, whether it was an easy birth or difficult birth for your mother?
I was a breech baby, so
Okay.
I don't know if that was an easy birth.
Okay, so was it end up that she gave vaginal, or did they do a C-section?
I don't think they did a C-section. I never heard that they did that.
Okay, so what we're going to do is again, they keep pointing to the word terror. So there's emotions that are trapped, and it needs to be released.
So were these things that happened in the womb that were activated that caused her not to want to be born, the terror of coming out, so that way she didn't shift properly?
Yes and no to that answer, because I feel like she took on this terror more than it was her own.
Okay, but she may have tapped into that when she was...
Well, I was just, what year, I don't mean to be nosy of the age, but what year were you born?
I'm 56 years old. I was born in 1956.
What, do you remember what was going on? Did you ever hear when you were born what was going on in the world around you?
I don't remember that far back.
Okay, okay. Scott, can you remember anything?
You're a historian.
No, it was after the Korean War. There wasn't really any.
I don't remember anything before 4 years old either. So.
Well, sometimes, like, see, I was born in 1967, and I remember hearing the stories about how when I was born, it was the Detroit riots, and that did play a part into how So all I was asking was, when you got older, did you happen to hear anything that had happened back in 1956? Any worldwide events?
It was the Cold War.
Well,
There was always the threat of
Eisenhower
communism.
was president.
Communism was always a threat in that era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were always talking about, they talked about the Reds and that kind of thing.
Right.
And bomb
I don't
shelter
know.
You're saying
drills.
about communism, I'm hearing a lot of static.
Yeah, I don't understand
I don't know
about the
what's
static
going on.
either. That's why we were just looking
We're
around.
getting kind of a bit of a windy and snowstorm kind
How
of
would
thing.
that affect this?
I don't know, the lines in it, I'm not sure. Shouldn't be.
It
'cause it's
sounds better now.
Yes,
yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it's just
All right, so we have to take, it's the
It's
clue.
a clue.
So it is listening and hearing and communicating, and there's a lot of static in the air, a lot of things that could be misunderstood. So now I just need to look at the energy field. There is a static, and it does affect the way the energies move because it feels more scrambled than it is centered. Now they're showing me that specific point at birth. Did you find breach?
I found footling breach birth.
Okay, so
When it first been
what
birthed.
she's going to do,
Wait, you're telling me that you feel terror inside of me since before I was even born?
everybody has emotions.
Right.
And we can pick up when other people are upset. And it's not that you are terrified, but you could possibly pick up that your mother may have terror. What if she was scared you were going to die?
Oh.
or something like that.
All I want you to hear now is that she's going to read out of this book we have that talks about breach birth represents life as. And if it sounds familiar, okay, we're not talking... we want you to just see if this plays a part, because everything that happens to us plays a part in how we act and how we feel and how we be.
And we're not saying that it's happening now, but these are part of the foundational parts of us that may be playing in our life right now that we're not even aware of. So you were asking about 2013, so we want to take a look at what's going on, what's unfolding, what part of your foundation may need addressing in order for you to have an awesome future. 2013.
Life
Wow,
itself,
that's excellent.
we create a lot of filters and a lot of things in life, and your spirit guides are pointing to the time of birth. And so what I'm looking at is the static energy, and I don't know what that static energy is. I'm just guided now to have her read about
Breech babies.
If it sounds like you let me know. If it doesn't, then we're going to zero in on we're trying to be very specific of what the spirit guides are telling us. So go ahead and read that.
So the first part of it, what the hell are you doing here? There is a severe degree of, at best, ambivalence and at worst, out-and-out hostility on the part of the mother about the arrival of this child, often accompanied by massive denial of its existence for as long as possible. She has an intense ambivalence about giving birth in these times and circumstances, and or about giving birth to this individual. So she seeks an unconscious compromise that ends up with this ass-backwards presentation.
Now, does that sound anything familiar to you?
No, not
Okay.
my mom.
So, see, my mother had 2 breech babies. My mother anticipated and loved and wanted these children. And a lot of times what happens is that it is, you see, the time that my mother had both the kids, there was a lot going on about whether the marriage was going to stay together. You know, so my mother had this terror that she's going to have to give birth or raise a child. I gave birth the second
I
time.
don't know if they were having problems. They spent their whole lives together.
That's okay. That's okay. When I gave birth the second time.
I never knew that they separated or anything. If they did, I don't remember.
That's okay.
They were always together, my parents.
That's good. I'm just trying to tell you, it's not a very. So when I gave birth, for the first and second time, my body went through a whole lot of terror. Okay, the pain was terrifying because my hips would not separate, and they didn't drop and separate, so I could give birth properly. Okay, and I was terrified of how. Well, the first one was that I didn't know how I was going to raise a child. How was I didn't even know. There was no steps. So it's not that it's a terrifying where you think it's the most horrifying thing in the world. It can be terror. It depends on how you define it. You know, just the terrifying moment that, oh my God, I have to be responsible for this little baby. It doesn't mean I didn't love the child.
That's normal, right? That could terrify anyone.
Yes. Yeah, it is normal.
And yes, and see, that's what I'm saying, is that you don't have to look at this as a bad thing. It can be a common everyday thought. Does this make sense?
Right.
Okay, so what I was looking at is that, has anybody ever, you know, like this phrase, I'm not sure, I'm not so sure I want, wait a minute, I am not, where am I at?
That's face down
Wow.
presentation.
Okay, what the hell are you doing here? Has anybody ever said that to you?
With regard to what?
Anything.
Anything.
Ever.
I'm sure. What the hell are you doing here? That's a possibility, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So it didn't stick, so it's not something that is a familiarity.
Why don't you look at this one?
Okay. The next part of it is, I'm not so damn sure I want to be here. They have an intense ambivalence about entering the physical plane per se, about entering in these times, and or about entering into the family environment. They intensely resistant to coming in, partially in reaction to the mother's response, and partially as a function to profound ambivalence of its own about being here or coming into this family and the resulting destiny.
Okay, so my question to you is, have you ever felt like you wanted something to end? You know, you know, the will to die, I just want it to end now. I just want it to be done. Like,
Of course.
okay, now that's what's...
That pertains to just about anyone, though, because
Well,
sometimes you put all your effort into something, you just want to get done already.
Okay, now that's good for you to understand how you know things, because the energy that's picked up in the field is that it's saying just that. Okay, I remember when I was giving birth, I says, just kill me now, because I couldn't take any more of the pain. I wanted it to done. And what happens is when your free will starts interplaying with your thoughts and your emotions, it can leave a mark. Okay, doesn't mean I want to kill myself. You just want the will to die, wanting it to be done. You know, just the will to just. I don't want to be a part of it.
If the floor could just swallow me up whole right now in this situation, that would be awesome. I've said that before.
Okay. Does any of this make sense? This might be so new to you that we're not telling you have anything bad happening to you. What I was saying was there's just, if you've ever thought these things, you've ever went through these things, it can leave a mark in who you are. And it can affect how things are, how your future is created, how things turn out for you.
Right.
And all I'm saying is that it's there. And it can affect the way you think. It can affect the way that you create happiness and joy, because you don't want it to happen again. So what I tried to ask the spirits, because I'm asking them, you know, I feel like this is scaring the hell out of you, and it shouldn't be doing this. And that's terrifying, and that could be an example in itself. So now I've just got to figure out, why are we telling her this? Why, you know... Same goes right back to terror. horrifying. So have you ever had any really bad news that has shocked you to the point where you just, it terrified you what you heard?
Well, when my mother passed, that was tremendous. It was very traumatic for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, see, there's just so much here. They're trying to point out they want her to look at it, but if she's never really seen it before, this is just going to sound foreign to her.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is this. What happens is that everyday life we record every moment. Anything that throws us off our center of happiness will leave a mark because it is considered by the soul unfinished, unresolved, continued story. It's like a book. You have it open, you're reading along, you get disrupted, you put a bookmark in and to say that you're promising to come back later to finish it. Okay, and that's exactly what happens with the soul. It wants you to come back later when you're ready to finish it. And so you asked whether you're going to have a great year, and the answer is you're going to get the same story. You're going to be able to maybe manifest a little bit more. I see you laughing and giggling. I see you being happy. There's a lot of questions like whether about finances, job, relationships. And then they say that, yes, it's going to be a great year, depending on how much you are influenced by the power of suggestion or consider the source of others. If somebody's having a bad day, sometimes you can't help but to take that on and then get their side of the story of what's happening. And the next thing you know, you're like, ow. And then you start feeling miserable, I should say. So somehow people's energies affect you, and does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So if you have a direct question, are you wanting to know about finances? Are you wanting to know about life purpose? What?
Well, right now I'm not working steady, and I would like to know about work and finances, please.
Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to ask about just that. All right, she wants to know about will her finances improve, and it's the answer. The one card that comes up is the compass card, and the compass card is in the right position. And as soon as I get the card, that's interesting. As long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. You're entering uncharted territories right now and expect wonderful new experiences. So there's a part of you that's moving into maybe learning something new, a different kind of career, a different type of job. Something probably that you maybe not expected.
Oh, it was static again.
And I'm not sure why.
It's got to be, I don't think it's us. I think it's outside.
Okay. Says to stay on the highest path of your destiny, you'll need to keep your compass pointed to true north. Only spirit or higher power can serve this function. Money, property, prestige, romance, other material achievements can't help you find your true north. They are simply things you may experience along the journey. Know that spirit is working in your life, so even if you feel lost temporarily, it'll be easy to find your way. Have faith and trust for your compass with spirit as true north, while ensure that you never be lost, even in the starless night when all things seem dark. Now, are you into your spirituality? Are you into finding who you are?
I don't know what you mean by that. I'm very confident. I mean,
Well, that's good.
and I know what I want.
That's good. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to use yourself to be the guide, whether or not you're going to first learn whether it is the direction, is it right for you, do you want to move and act, take more risk, be able to do what you need to do, okay? And just learning to stay in a positive mode can make it be effortless, because my husband drew a card and it just says effortless. And so why don't you read that?
Okay, I'll read it. It says water, it's effortless like the waterfall. Okay, water naturally flows from higher to lower ground, eventually finding its way to the ocean. One of nature's most exquisite and dynamic demonstrations of this fact is the waterfall. Graceful, powerful, and effortless, she can take our breath away with her cascading beauty. Kate, tongue-tied tonight. Okay. She readily flows around that which may otherwise impede. She is extremely patient, persistent, and skillful in the way she ever so gradually shapes and carves her passageways down the slope of a mountain. Note how the waterfall forms ribbons that accord with the artistry of the stone laces she descends, joining the calmer pool for a rest before she continues her journey. There is no strain or stress in this movement. The water simply follows natural law and interaction between the formations of the precipice and as she travels, and the powerful fluidity and depthability of her flow. Effortless.
So just remember, anytime it feels like it's not effortless, just think water.
Me talking tonight on it.
Just believe that you're water. How does water do it? They just find a way to do it, and it becomes effortless. So if something becomes complicated, just say, nope, nope, I can do this, and then just wait for signs that start pointing how to become effortless, okay? So that is, otherwise it sounds like you're going to have a wonderful future. So now base it on the last year. Did you have a good last year in 2012?
I had some changes going on, and I'm hoping that I get more positive changes.
That's good, and I think you will, because you have the attitude that will bring it. So
right, and you have that confidence.
Yep, and that's confidence is a lot that will get you what you need. So have a great year.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Thank
dear.
you.
Question.
Yes, hello.
Now I feel like we have to address this just before we go to the Skype caller, and that's just to help you understand that there's different levels of awakening. The shift has to do with your levels of awakening. If you're still in a different state, or feel like you haven't changed, then maybe you're getting to a point where things are going to push you to awaken to see different things than the way you normally didn't see them before. The way you conceive it. Most of the time we have to see it to believe it, but we're moving to the stage of believing and seeing, meaning you're going to learn how to start creating your illusion around you, your reality around you, by understanding your beliefs have everything to do with it. So to help that last caller, it's not, remember, nobody is good, better, or best. It's all about the level of where you are on your soul's journey. Unable to communicate with her, I felt upset about this because I couldn't tell her what her mother was coming through and saying, but I didn't approach it that way because there was, oh, you need to talk about this, need to talk about this, and I'm thinking, but she didn't understand because it's like talking a foreign language. And when you're not open to that, or even if you are open to that, and she didn't know what a higher self was, so, you know, she's learning to open. She's learning to be in a different situation. She's learning to grow. And you have to respect exactly where that soul is and give the message the way that that the soul needs to be, you know, to hear it. So it's not that we're keeping anything back. It's just that, how can I talk to you? Because now I have a feeling that she's going to say, oh, you should have heard those ladies. She said that I was terrified. And it's consciously, she doesn't show any terrifying anything.
Right, no, she has great confidence, and that was what the next one was. The sun is going to come out tomorrow, and it'll
but
be fun.
But it's going to haunt her about what we said. And then, so that makes me like, okay, I can understand I was supposed to be the catalyst of change. Sometimes I don't like being a catalyst of change. It's there. All we're saying is that there was life experience that happens to be in the way, and it can interfere. She said that she's had changes and she wants more positive changes, and sometimes in order for positive changes to happen, you have to kick out the old or resolve the old from the past.
Right, as you were talking about the different stages of levels and learning and all that kind of stuff, I always loved the image of the butterfly and the transition, and thinking of the different stages, the growth stages of a butterfly. There's the little caterpillar that comes along and it just starts eating everything. That was one of my favorite stories as a little kid, was a hungry caterpillar, and just ate and ate and ate and ate and ate and ate and ate, and it just took, and that's sometimes what you do with knowledge. You're just voraciously picking and choosing and books and learning and videos and taking in and all this information gathering and bringing it in. But then some things really have to disintegrate once you've brought all that new information in. Some of the old ways or old patterns or whatever needs to transfer out, and you go through that process in order to birth as that butterfly.
I asked what the static was, and they said, well, the static is like when you take one frequency and try to communicate with the other frequency. It's not a clear channel. It's like when, from the old days, when you're trying to tune in that frequency of the TV shows, you know, somebody had to be the antenna in order for it to...
Yeah, you had to hold the
And so then they were showing me that the energies in her body were off, and so I wanted to direct her to the Wayne Cook posture. But again, where does Spirit wanted to go? And then it was simply, we gave her the exact information that we needed to. She is going to have a wonderful year.
Mhm.
You know, we'd like to help you resolve things so that you can have and do it with grace and ease. Alright, so let's take the next one.
Okay, Skype caller, you are on the air with Brenda, Scott, and Jen.
Hello.
Well, hello again, and this is perfect that I'm talking to you now because I called in a couple weeks ago in your catalyst for me.
Oh gosh, okay.
Because you brought up that when I was sexually assaulted, I had some issues with my sisters, and you ladies went in there and healed it, and it was amazing.
Oh, okay, good, we helped.
And I just had an amazing Christmas. I didn't see my sister, but she was in town, and my other sister also, I didn't see her, but my mom communicated with them, and it used to bother me, and I used to have major feelings with it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And also you cleared some jealousy issues from my sisters and I, and I've had a wonderful Christmas because of it.
Aww. Yay.
Oh, so I just wanted to call and thank you so much.
Thank you.
I had a hard time for quite a while trying to get through that, and it just wasn't working, and you took the time and went in there and got it a couple of weeks ago, and I have just been shifting and changing, and I do a lot of energy work and intuitive stuff and past life myself, and I'm clearing incredibly, and that was one of the things that was really blocking me.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in and letting us know. We appreciate it. It helps us understand that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes, and it was truly amazing. So I was wondering if you could do a reading for me for 2013, if that would be possible, please.
Yes. All I can tell you is right now, like the angels that are around you, they're happy, they're excited, they feel your relief, and they are so happy that you have that relief because you have more energy back. And they see more light within you, and so they're excited.
You sound different.
Yeah, the tone sounds different. You know,
yeah,
so you have.
I feel different. I should tell you my name, right?
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
Teresa Mary.
Hi, Teresa Mary. Oh yeah, you got a lot of people that are, awesome caller. So people are saying wonderful. So you have some good stuff going on in the chat room.
Okay.
So you got a lot of support from us and them. You're very. They're so excited because all they show me is dancing feet at this moment, and I'm not sure exactly because they're pointing out that they're small feet, and they're dancing the jig, like an Irish jig, and they say that it's happy and it's joy. But then I see ballerina shoes, which means it is getting in tune with that rhythm. And when you watch ballerinas do it, there's this rhythm they have where they literally are allowing the, I see that, hold on. They literally allow that music to flow through so they can actually dance that art. Now, Jen just pulled a feather out of thin air.
It magically drifted and flew into where I am and landed on the keyboard.
Yeah, and it's a cute little white one. I mean, it's
tiny.
It
came out of nowhere.
But
it's
beautiful.
Float, it?
Yeah, it wants to go. Well, it's like what she's doing. Floating. So that's really cool. So now the feather. I'm supposed to ask Octrine, what do you know about feathers? And she's in the chat room. Hopefully she can type something in there. Cleariness. Okay, now they're having me have you turn and looking in another direction. And you got more confidence, they say, and they're, wow, I just see that you, okay, I don't know if you ever watched Indiana Jones, where, and I don't know which movie, my husband could tell me, where he has to get the cross of this imaginary bridge. It's there, but he can't see it.
Oh, in the
right.
cave, in the cavern.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
yes.
the bridge
Leap of faith, I think it was a part of the test.
Well, I feel like this is her. She's already says, "Oh, I've taken that leap of faith," and she's put that foot out there. And you have such great confidence, and what they want you to do is to let you know how deep that is. Now, my body inside is like all of a sudden I'm having trouble digesting. I need to ask what I'm saying. No, digesting. Okay, so give her something good. What do you want me to give her? Overwhelmed. So what does she do? She empathically picks up overwhelmed people. So now the next leg of your journey is watch how people are overwhelmed and how they respond. And sometimes you become the buffer and you end up making more chemical peptides about their overwhelming, which causes you to become overwhelmed. Does this make sense?
Yeah, but for my clients, I do holistic work.
Okay.
And for my clients, I overdo it.
Okay.
I used to overdo it all the time. I stopped working for a little while, but I would give them the whole shebang, and
Okay.
I think it was too much for them.
Ah.
Is that what?
No, but no, that's you're doing good work. They know exactly what it is. But 9 years old was when you first you became overwhelmed, because when we get to a certain age, our consciousness shifts just by being a kid, moving into the age of reasoning and the age of modeling, the age of all of these things. I think you kind of woke up and you started to notice how life is overwhelming, and that is actually
Well, that's when I was abused.
okay.
That's what we worked on last time. That's when I was sexually abused when I was about 9.
Okay, so
Okay.
if the overwhelmed, now I'm going to say if there's any more that's hooked there about the abuse, and they said yes. Now the overwhelmed, okay, you read yours, and then I will find out what they're referring to.
Okay, this sounds familiar. I don't know if I pulled this familiar. Okay, if this was something that a card that I pulled that last time. The cat is about independence and healthy boundaries, and it's reversed. And the cat reminds you of independence and to set healthy boundaries. Love with freedom. Do not look to own what you desire, for too much attachment can lead to loss. The cat lends you its power to live freely and to remember that the adventure is just beginning. Don't forget that the cat has 9 lives and always lands on its feet. It manages to get up unscathed from a fall no matter what happens. On this leg of your journey, you will emerge safe and sound. Live freely, love without unhealthy attachment, and remember that with the cat as your companion, you may fully immerse yourself in life, for there will be many more lives to come. So if that's not happening, which is reversed, it came with the disruption card. So there goes
Their feather again. So simple terms. What does this mean again? Just simple terms.
Okay, independence. Set healthy boundaries.
Okay,
Do
so
not become too attached on what you desire, and
because she's
that it's able to emerge.
well, what I'm getting is that whoever she was, the disruption keeps stopping her from having healthy boundaries, stops her from being really independent, and then
Oh, okay.
does that make sense?
Yes.
Because then Octarine pulled up, she says, there's a lot of meanings, she says, but the one that came up happened to be truth, ascension, and I know that you're creating an ascension. So then I've asked, so why do we have to go back to being overwhelmed in the 9 years old? And here's the interesting part, which came up was, it was not you're overwhelmed, it was family members. And they keep pointing to mother. It's like mother was overwhelmed about even knowing how to address this. So basically she went into a shock stage. Not trying to defend your mother, but I will tell you that it's very familiar because Jen and I know what this means. Jen is a great muscle tester, but then there will be times that she will be in a situation where she has to muscle test. And what happens to you, Jen?
Oh, I completely freeze. The person that I'm working with, I can't read this person for whatever. I get too attached. I start making up things because it just comes down to I can't do it.
And I've frozen to different situations and literally thinking that, oh, I can do this, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. If I wasn't paying attention spiritually, I would really think that I was still doing it. But I froze, and I know it, and it causes an overwhelming, parts of you start to shut down, your brain will maybe go fogged. It's like you just can't process when you eat certain foods. And so I felt like it's like your mother found out, and she didn't even know what was supposed to do about it. What if he had such a reign on her?
She didn't do anything.
Huh?
She didn't do anything.
Exactly. But
why is what we're saying.
Right, and the thing is that overwhelm that she had, you picked up, and of course that's going to put you in a state of horror because you're looking for a protector. Okay? Like my mother, I couldn't understand why she wasn't protecting us when we were being beaten. Okay? Doesn't make her a bad person. She didn't know what the hell to do. Especially back in that day, she had 5 kids to raise. And in that time of when, you're talking 1935s to 1935, go back, in the 50s.
Yeah.
So in the 50s and the 60s, one of the things that occurred was that the energy was that the man was supposed to take care of things, and you listened to what the man said, and the man's supposed to be the provider, because I remember when my mother tried to, when she graduated, she tried to get a job, everybody just told her, no, sorry. And then the only wage that she could get was crappy. And so there was this reliance that you're supposed to be relied on to a man. You're supposed to do this. And then you get trapped in this state that you're supposed to be married forever. And, my age, the coming of the ages, it's like, no, I don't have to put up with this crap. Whereas my mother, finally, after so much abuse, couldn't do it anymore, walked away and said, screw the rules that said you're supposed to stay married, that you're supposed to be, relying on a man, you're supposed to do this. She said that if she knew about ADC back then, if she knew about how somebody was going to give her money to help her to get away from abused men, she would have done it a long time ago. But she had no way to figure out.
Right, that information network. How do you know that?
Yeah, there was no information network. We didn't even have a phone. So my mother constantly was in a state that she was like in a repressed state to some degree without having that knowledge out there. Okay? But when she couldn't take it anymore, she happened to be talking to a friend, because you don't tell your secrets, especially your dirty secrets. And somebody said something, and the next thing you know, my mother actually was getting help. You don't have to do this. But at the same time, she went out and didn't know, again, that there was help. She finally got a job in a factory, which meant that she would have to stop taking care of us. And the transition before she could actually get rid of him was about how he threatened every day that if she goes to work, that she make him home and our heads will be blown off and blood will be everywhere. You're next, I'll kill you when you walk in the parking lot, or I'll slit the throat of your kids right in front of you. I mean, he was terrifying her every single moment, every time she walked out that door, but she was not going to fall for it anymore. So the question at hand is that sometimes what happens to people when they look like they're covering it up, but I just feel like part of your mother was overwhelmed and didn't know what the hell to do, freezing up, not knowing what to do. And I feel you picked that up because you're the child going, but I want help. My mother did not know how to help me when my boyfriend died. She literally thought, okay, I won't go to work today and I'll be with you. Well, she really wasn't, but it was nice that she did that. She did not know how to help me.
Right. There's, in my family, I cannot go into the specifics, but they're family members with abuse too. Now, the man in the family was a pedophile, little boys. And so this person is a female, and so then there's all that with this dad, that she was unloved and unwanted and that kind of thing because she wasn't a boy to start with, but then if she was, then he would have attacked her. Now the mom, then, because even though the mom knew what was going on, and the dad and this person was also a Boy Scout leader and all that kind of thing, so then that took place also. The mom then began to drink, and so what happened was then the dad just made a big deal about the mom's drinking. Not what he was doing, not anything that what he was doing was wrong, because the mom didn't know what to do. She became an alcoholic, so he blamed her, and so then the daughter, the girl in the family, then also took on the father's behavior of yelling at the mom. Oh, mom was just a drunk. She was just this awful person.
Yeah.
Never mind that what he
him.
was. It was completely deflected off of him, and this person was a tyrant also. So the mom may have wanted to do something, but because the dad was a tyrant and you know, unleashed on her.
I think what they're trying to say, what's happening, is that the next leg of your journey is to help you, that 9-year-old, not the age you are, but the 9-year-old self, to take a look aside of that one mirror, how it recorded it, and really take it to the next level. Now, do you get along with your mother today?
She was here today. A little bit, but I was upset with her recently. With what you said, I remember my parents having a fight, and my mother, I think, took some pills and ran away, and that's what that was all about, like what you were saying. And then just after that, shortly after that, she became an alcoholic. So all that you said kind of tied into...
Wow. Because women that consciousness back then is so different than it is now about what a woman is.
Yeah, I was born in 60.
Yeah, and see, then...
I understand, like, yeah, this was 69 when this happened, and I remember it when you started talking.
Okay.
I remember the things, so...
That's good. So what they want you to do is they want your heart.
I was up to 9 years old, and
yeah. They want your heart to open up.
There.
They want your heart to open up. They want this overwhelmness of that actually causes you and blocks you from seeing the good that your mother has. Even though I know consciously you could see the good, we're looking through the lens of the 9-year-old. And because of the fact the feather, it says about truth and ascension, my husband has picked up
freedom and taking flight.
Yeah, freedom and taking flight. And my husband drew a card. And so, which deck?
It's Earth Magic by Stephen D. Farmer. I got the Fog card, which is reversed, so I guess it's...
So what you're going to do is you're going to read it correctly, the way it is, because they don't have a reverse card, and we'll interpret it.
Okay. Fog is simply a low cloud, a blanket of water crystals that hasn't gained the density of raindrops. The thicker it is, the more it shrouds us in its damp and billowy arms. It can be so thick that it makes it nearly impossible to see directly in front of us. During those times, silence makes its own sound as we pause and allow ourselves to be enveloped in that shroud of impenetrable density. We may even feel as if we can do nothing but be still and wait for what has to be revealed. Yet even within the thickest fog, we can be assured that it will eventually burn off as the sun's rays infiltrate the veil. Once they do so, we can anticipate how the light and warmth will bring us welcome relief from the cold. As the sun continues to disperse the fog, our surroundings become illuminated, and we have the opportunity to continue onward.
All right, so the veil is being removed. You're starting to learn, and the key word was awaken to how others check out. To really help you with your clients, you really are going to start noticing mentally and emotionally how there is an automatic response that kicks in. And when you're working with your clients, do they seem to get it? Because you said something about overwhelmed. Do they seem to get it, or do they seem to back away or look confused?
They back away a little bit. This is a couple of years ago, and I would do like past life clearing, intuitive stuff, and it's just like, whoa, like, because I was giving them a lot of information and going into the past life, I think that overwhelmed them.
Yeah, and what it is that they can't conceive it. I mean, if you heard the last caller, she's at a different stage of consciousness. Yeah. And I wanted to talk to her, but at the same time, she wasn't at that same frequency so we could communicate. So there was a part of her that was trying to get it, but at the same time checking out. I'm notorious for having so much information flowing through me that I'm supposed to overwhelm your consciousness, so your unconsciousness will allow change to occur. Now, I wasn't able to do that.
Right.
Even though information was trying to force itself through, I knew that I couldn't. Now, so what you're going to be doing is going into another area of your abilities to look at another lens. Stand back as the spiritual observer and notice that part of your spiritual vocation is to actually notice that when people have no clue that they're checking out. For example, we have this one great friend that when people are chastising him, he will just pick up his phone and start texting. And he has no clue that I go, does the person bother you when you're getting chastised? Oh yeah, let him rattle on. But that's his safeguard. That's what he does, is that he checks out. He doesn't hear half the stuff they say.
And then that infuriates the person even more.
Which makes him laugh because he feels like he's done his duty as far as getting even or balancing it out. But he actually checks out and totally misses what's happening. Not that he had to be chastised, but the whole point of why it was happening. Checking out, like when Jen says that all of a sudden she wants to muscle test and she's ready to do it, and all of a sudden parts of her check out and she's like, what the hell? I want to do this. And so it gets infuriating when you know you're the professional you are, and
I have the answers and I want to check and I want to do this, and all of a sudden, yeah, and then do a little tap dance to recover.
Okay, so you're starting to become from a different observation mode, so the veil has been lifted and you're going to be able to find more truth and more wisdom, but it'll be for your benefit. They may not be ready, but you can then start attracting people that are ready to hear what you have to say. Because like when I was teaching classes and this stuff would pop up, I'd say, oh, we have to look at the process of how you check out. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I says, do you do this, this, and this, and this? They go, yes. And I says, that's part of the checking out process. And it's a way to protect yourself. And it's a way to, because there's a shock that has not been able to been resolved yet. And I'll say, do you want to investigate? And they'll say, yes. So the first thing they're telling you is to start observing. Okay?
Observing and maybe speak to the subconscious?
Yes. You'll be guided to books. You'll be guided to books and things that you need. So we're going to say thank you, angels, for helping her learn this with grace and ease and help her know when it's happening and bring the books and the guidance and the teachers that she needs. And so it is done. Okay? And because I see you taking a nice big leap in the direction you need, and it'll actually give you a foundation of understanding more, like why your mother couldn't help you. And I feel like she couldn't. Not that she just denied it, is that I have seen people being stomped on, and it's because they go in the checkout mode, not because they want to. It's an automatic response that their brain does, and they can't overcome it, and you freeze. See, the reason why people have addictions is because they don't know how to resolve the thing that got them there, so the only way that they can make sense of the world is to pick up an addiction to actually stay, so they can stay away from the pain of, to stay away from it. So,
yes.
You know, you can understand probably more of why your mother didn't say anything or do anything, and a lot of it probably is because her hands were tied, and she didn't even mentally know it herself. And she probably beats herself up, or she tries to shove it aside because the pain is so strong, she can't even cope with it. You know? So, giving yourself greater understanding of the behavior of certain people, it's not that they're trying to intentionally do it. That's the biggest thing, is that a lot of people don't realize it. They want to say, you intentionally did it. But a lot of times, it is the unconscious program that forces a habit, a reaction to occur, even though that's not what they want. They are unable to see it, and it's not that because they're dense or dumb. It's just, it's the program that their subconscious mind says, we have to protect you because you don't, because of that first shock, whatever that first moment was. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Well, my grandparents, like, they were a little bit wealthy, and my mom married below her. With my father. And I always heard, you made your bed, you lie in it. And
oh my God.
When you were talking there, that's what I got.
Yes, that's a huge one.
My mom, yeah.
And that'd be something. If she could heal that, that'd be something. But I don't know if she's open to any of this. But you know that because you are the bloodline, you may want to make sure that you have no entanglement cord to that. And so double check to see if there's anything in there. Has it ever happened to you? If you're trying to avoid it. Because even if you're trying to avoid it, you still need to heal it so don't fuel.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I understand it all. I'm trying to separate from my husband, and all of that information and reality just came to me.
Oh, wow.
So
You can do it.
Yes, it's all connected, and I really appreciate and your wonderful messages and the love you give and all the information.
Thank you.
I just don't want to take up.
Oh, you're doing fine. We want to give you one more.
Can get in.
We want to give you one more message, and this is a beautiful.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
This is a beautiful painting that's done by Mario Dungwai, but it's the messages that come with it, and the picture is a painting of a beautiful woman that's radiating light, and then all of these different masks and behaviors and things. They look terrible. They look like they're dead, walking around, sadness, negativity. But the message is,
I am light. The light is within me. The light is around me. The light protects me. Regardless of the negativity I may encounter, I remain joyful and shine forth in all my splendor. With my light, I illuminate those around me. I am worthy of the divine within me.
so you just remember that message and you pull that in, and you are going to succeed. And you don't have to be ashamed, and don't be controlled by those things, because you need to move forward with being in alignment with who you truly are, okay?
Yes, and I do have those cards.
Oh, awesome!
Now, my Facebook page, I've been using those Mario de Gay.
I love those.
This is something I drew. The last time I drew from your deck, I drew the same card.
It's just
Yeah.
right on the mark. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a healthy, prosperous, wonderful 2013, and I'll continue to listen to your show, and thank you.
Yes,
appreciate it.
participate away, and I take that blessing, and I send you love
Definitely.
too. All right. So what we're going to do is we're
And
going to...
I'm just going to hang up
Yes,
and
yes.
listen on the website.
Sounds
or
good,
the,
honey.
Blog Talk.
Okay.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye.
Thank you.